miners were lifelong coal miners until the unions were busted up, and anyone with a pension and anyone with a lot of years saved up were sent back down to the mines so that they would quit, so that they wouldn't have to pay pensions. So yeah, actually happened.
So what was it like writing about something that was so personal to you? How much did you blend fictional with real?
Yeah.
Is there any shade of you up there anywhere?
Yeah, I think the frustration. Mountaintop mining, for those of you who don't know what the practice is, basically coal companies decided that even though it was responsible to pay union wages for men to go down to the mines and dig coal up the old-fashioned way, it was just a hell of a lot cheaper to blow the top off the mountain and then dump all that stuff into rivers and valleys and call it fill. And so that's what's been happening in Appalachia and in West Virginia and Ohio and Kentucky for the past 15, 20 years. It's just much cheaper for them to do that, and it's much cheaper for them to pay non-union fees to do it. So every time I go home, I see another piece of my state blown up. And the frustration that Campbell has bringing a mining executive down to his basement to torture him. Well, I've never done that. I certainly get it. There's a real feeling of helplessness. And I think the interesting thing for me is that, Campbell says, this coal gave me everything, and now it's taking everything away, which I think a lot of these people are finding themselves in this situation.
How many times have you seen this staged?
This is
the
it.
premiere.
Yeah, this is the world premiere. So
the world premiere.
I've had a lot of other plays staged, across the country. People are scared of this play. It's a beast, and Chicago Street, they're not scared of anything. Which is great.
So what was the process like? Why other companies said it was a beast? And
yeah, well, first off, it's no one wants to hear about West Virginia or Appalachia. I kind of talk about how it's sort of the forgotten people. If what was happening in West Virginia was happening anywhere else in the country, I think people would be shocked and outraged. But it's just easy to pretend like that doesn't exist and that's not happening because no one really cares. And even the mining Daniel says at one point, I'm giving uneducated, untrained, unskilled people jobs. Like, what's the problem? And that's sort of the mentality that has existed for so long. So I think a lot of people are scared of the subject matter. I think a lot of people are scared of the multiple sets and action going on up here while there's action going on down here. I think people are really scared of John Hall. He did a great job with it. I think
Jim Henry is our resident playwright, and we're fortunate enough to have him here. And through Jim knowing Joshua, through Jim's work as an associate with Chicago dramatists, we have what we call New Work series here at Chicago Street Theater. It's part of what we used to call the Salon. What we are soon to be unveiling is called Upstaged. And Jim is able to invite every other month, every 2 months, a writer to have a staged reading of their new work. So we were introduced to American Rex, was it in April or no, March? Something like that last year. And we were able to do a staged reading of it here. So how has that process, because I have seen how it's grown and how it's changed, but if we could elaborate just a little bit for the audience on the, so Chicago Street has also been involved in the reading of it and then the evolution of this staging.
Yeah, one thing I really love about being a playwright is getting into a room with actors and ripping what I just wrote apart. Because you don't know where the holes are until, I mean, you can stand in your bedroom and try to act out all the parts, but you're just ridiculous when you do it. And until you get good actors to really dig into it, you don't know where the holes are, you don't know where the confusing parts are. So for me, it was really cool. I had a workshop with this off-Broadway about 5 years ago, and then I just put it away for a while. And Jim read it. It was probably about 3 years ago first, and called me up and encouraged me to look at it again and talk me through some things that he had questions about. And then when I got a chance to come down here and hear it again, I sort of could look at it with fresh eyes, and I probably shaved 20 pages off of the final script. There were a lot of really long, indulgent monologues that just had to go. And so it was great to be able to work with a company of actors that could dig into it and weren't scared of it.
How was it working with the directors?
It was awesome. They were great. I mean, it's sort of my favorite thing is to have directors who are honest with you and will call you up or email you and say, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. And you need to fix it, and fix it now. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, it's so much better than, I really respect your work. Just tell me what's broken and we'll fix it. And that's what they did, which was very cool.
Great. And the directors are Tracy Brandt and Johnny Perry.
We do really respect your work, though.
What's that?
We really respect your work.
Oh, I know.
On a final note, I would just like to ask you one last thing. After seeing it staged for the first time now, do you feel like you're going to take it through some more rewrites, changes?
It always changes. Yeah, I mean, I think the next time I get in a room with a different set of actors, I mean, we'll find different stuff. And I mean, it's constantly evolving. I don't think until it's actually published, it's ever final. Yeah, I think that's going to be the case. Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate being able to have the world premiere.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys.
That was fun.
And you are the first audience to have ever seen this stage.
Like, one thing that I really believe in is having something to say, and I don't believe in doing issue plays, but I do believe in having something to say and trying to disguise issues, as far as looking at it through the lens of a family or a person. So those of you who don't know anything about mountaintop mining, about what's happening, I encourage you to learn more about it, because it's I don't know what your politics are. I can probably guess since you're in the theater. But I will tell you that when both presidential candidates during the debates were talking about clean coal and how they were a friend of clean coal, I was throwing up into a bucket. There's no such thing as clean coal. It's a myth. If you want to find out what clean coal really is, go look at some pictures of my home state, and that'll tell you what's happening right now. So there are alternatives out there.